Oops, sorry there. I think things are loading up. All right, so welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I'm Will with Music Protest, and this is Sound Pack Roundup. We're going to be going through every sound pack that Ableton's given me. And if there's sound packs out there that you want me to explore, by all means, let me know. Anyway, today I'm going to look at Unnatural Selection. I think this has been in my pack collection for quite a while, but I'm working on something kind of trancey. Ableton doesn't seem to really offer a lot of sound packs for trance. Of course, the instruments in Ableton are awesome, but I'm looking, partly because I want the convenience of kind of drag and drop some sounds, but also because I'm kind of learning how to make those sounds. I want to find some presets. Now, Unnatural Selection is not really aimed specifically, as I can tell, really at any genre, but they do have a lot of construction kits, and it seems like they've tagged it as techno. I think sometimes there's good potential to take some techno sounds and port them into trance a bit more than maybe with like a house collection. So that's why I'm starting here. So I'm going to be doing that, looking at the construction kits, but also just generally getting like an overview of Unnatural Selection. All right, so let's switch over to my computer here and look a little bit at what Ableton thinks I should be doing with Unnatural Selection. So as always, I'm going to kind of highlight some things here. We got our tags down here. So experimental, like electronica, industrial, cinematic, sound effects, techno, loops. All right, so it's probably all right. Probably going to serve my purposes. It's not really a massive library here. Relatively small, which to me says that it's not as much samples and clips as it is presets and stuff like that, which is also probably what I'm looking for if I'm working on something trancey. All right, so this says Unnatural Selection's collection of audio clips and construction kits for a diverse number of genres and includes beats and melodic components. So yeah, that's a good place to start. You may also I always like to look at these because it kind of orients me around what other kind of themes might be standing out here. So Wavetable, which is definitely a more kind of gritty experimental sound engine than maybe Operator. There are some other libraries in here: cinematic depth, animated atmospheres, designed exclusively for cinematic music production. So actually, this Unnatural Selection might be good for like creating some ambient stuff. Let's listen to some of the samples and see what we got. All right, it's pretty heavy. A little, at least this demo is a little on the dark side, but definitely highly synthetic. So the experimental, industrial sound effects and techno all seem like strong cues for how we might want to use this. So next thing, let's load up some of these construction kits. So I got Unnatural Selections down here. I'm gonna go down to this construction kits folder and look out. I don't know. Let's see. It's hard to tell anything by these names. I'm gonna try Neptune. See what that sounds like. Maybe I'll open this project here. So I guess I could take this here and Neptune beat. Percussion. Sample here. right, so there is quite a lot going on there. Let me just change some settings, and then we're going to go over to the push, because we're going to kind of just tweak some of these sounds a little bit and figure out, you know, direction forward. All right, so let's come over to the push. I got my things set up here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two audio tracks. Seems like we are going to be using instruments here mostly. So I guess it's all off. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new scene. Let me just go back to the software here and just kill all these scenes, because there's actually like a bunch of scenes making it so that I can't see anything on my push. So I just want these to be more visible to us on the push, so I'm bringing them up there. Now when we switch over here, we can see in the session view, we can see a little bit. Which, you know, although it's already being played, could function with like some gating on it, could function well as kind of like, you know, a trancey kind of melodic element if I were to even arpeggiate something behind it. So let's... Did they say what that was in... I don't think they said. It's just Rhodes. They don't give me like a key or anything. So one way that I will often figure out like what key something's in, if I really like a clip like this, and I want to play something like, in this case, I want to add some kind of arpeggiation. Then I'll load up some kind of keys type sound, right? So maybe I'll add a track here, and I'll just go down to sounds, to keys, piano and keys. There you go. I just want something with a fairly decent attack, something that's not too synthesized, right? I've got accent and repeat off. I'll turn accent back. Yeah, boy, that's a little rough. Okay, so then I will play that loop. I'm gonna turn off record there. Okay, go back to my notes on this track. I'm not sure that there's actually that minor third in there, but fortunately, if it's a major, then the minor will work fine. So I'm going to use that as a chord, right? So I'm just going to turn on my metronome, go back to sessions here, and record, enable this, and that's all I need to do. Go back to clip, and I'm going to start the loop right there. I'm going to quantize this so that there's no overlap. And sometimes when the MIDI note starts a little bit before the beginning of the clip, it won't actually sound. I don't want that. I'm going to close this in like that. So we've got a loop now that is just basically, I'm not sure actually what key I was in, so let's see what key I'm in. So I'm in C major, so that's basically just a C C minor chord. So that's a C minor triad that I just played. And the reason that I played that was so that I can go into the clip, or actually really into the track, and I'm going to add an arpeggiator. So I just want okay, so the arpeggiator is just doing that work for me. I'm going to adjust the gate. So that starts to kind of create something a little bit more trancey. Gives me a seed for like some kind of melodic idea that, you know, I can keep building. And I'm not going to build an entire track here. That's not my intention. It's more to see what this pack offers, and I'm using kind of a quick draft of a trance track as like a way to get started. Okay, so let's see what the whoops. I meant to hit mix there. So there's a conflict here between you can hear that there's just like a groove mismatch between this particular that like low end percussion is accenting different beats. So it's not wrong, it's not off time, it's just that the groove doesn't feel, you know, quite right. So what I'm going to do here is actually just replace these drums. So this gives me a good opportunity to look at what else we've got. So let's switch back over to the computer. And actually, sorry that I didn't have my push up there, because I demoed some useful things there. I'm really sorry about that. Unfortunately, in the last couple of live streams, I've had my my monitor that I use to track you know, what's going out over the live stream. It breaks down on me, which means I have to get a new one, and that's just something that I haven't done yet. So sorry about that. Anyway, let's switch over to the software now, and let's look at what else they've got. So they've got some samples here, and what I want to do is try and find some you know, clips that can, maybe a clip, maybe a pattern, or maybe just some samples that I can load in. Let's listen to some of these clips. Just see what the flavor of this unnatural selection is. Not really matching my vibe. That might. I'll give that a try. Load it into a track and we can give it a try. That could work. Definitely could work. Let's actually look at those. That's pretty. This last one is the strongest. I'm gonna get rid of this percussion. So in this case, is much more like a house beat. All right, so let's go back to the push. And bring up some of these other instruments. So I'm going to digress a little bit here because I want to point out some kind of like a cool process for improving these two tracks here. So I've got this heavy 8th based pattern that's happening in this track, right? Heavy arpeggiated sound, but a much cooler kind of vibey thing happening over here. And the two of them together, you know, it's not terrible. It's just not that interesting. It's a little static. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put a gate on my Rhodes here. I'm going to put a gate on this. Add device. Go down to audio effects, and probably under dynamics we got gate. Go with gate, and then if we flip over to live here, then we can actually set this up so that the gate is going to be side chained to I think it was what was the name of that track? I'm gonna go ahead and rename this harp, just so it's easier to find, right? Now I go back down to sorry, I got lost there. So I'm gonna go, where was my gate? I thought I had it, but I guess I'd put it on the wrong track. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my arpeggiator here, but I'm going to run the side chain based on the arp. All right. So now what I can do is I can start So now I'm using the rhythm of the arpeggiator on the other chord. I'm going to fade it in just a little bit. It's almost like a gating effect. I mean, it is a gating effect. I meant it's almost like a delay effect, right? All right, so let's go back to the push now. And I can bring in these other things. Now I could do something else here, which is to get rid of this clip here and take the bass track, which has a sound on it, switch my monitoring to in, change the input type to my ARP. Actually, I misconfigured that, I'm sorry. Let me go back to all ins. Oh, it's an audio clip, that's the problem. Sometimes it's not always that clear when you're loading stuff up on the push what's audio, but of course, if I go to selecting this clip and I look at it in clip view, I can see it's an audio clip. So let's say that I were to, well, I don't really want to get too much into the production side. I could sample this, turn it into a simpler, make it into an instrument, and then I could run the MIDI out of my ARP channel in here to create a bass line that is actually matching the chords. But let's look a little more deeply at what's in this sound pack, because I really don't want to get too off the mark in terms of the sound packs. So let me go here. I'm going to delete this track and that track. Going to delete this track as well, and look at a couple more of the construction kits that we've got. All right, so let's say that we were going to take a beat, and I think these construction kits here are kind of similarly named to like the beat. So let's take this Retrograze, right? And we'll put the beat in here. We'll put what they call machine in there, snares, the synth, oops, I guess snares, got to go on some other kind of track. And then I could grab the beat called Retrograze down here, down up from clips, under beats, right? Under clips and then beats. And I don't see actually that they don't have a Retrograze. I guess I picked just like the one that they didn't have. But let's try another one. Let's go ahead. We probably got the gate on there. That's why that's so quiet. And as I work through this, I'm definitely getting a sense for the flavor. It's all very synthetic. Probably a much better match for techno. Not really that helpful for anything trancey. These are all basses. Let's see what they've got for leads. Could use that for let's see, what was that was my ARP channel, right? Let's go ahead and, oh wait, that's an AIF file. So I like this sound, but it's actually not a sound I can use. It's just an audio clip, since I'm under samples. I wonder if, yeah, it's hard to really see a way to get that. Definitely could be very like trancey. So I could change my input here to ARP and get rid of these. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the MIDI coming out of my ARP, this channel here, right? And again, this is just an audio sample, which is not what I want. So I'm going to have to go through, if I wanted to get that sound, I'd have to reconstruct it, go back and do some like harmonic analysis, figure out how to make that sound, which I am not going to do right now. But I think probably, you know, you can tell that this pack is definitely appropriate for techno. It does have, it's all very synthetic, so it's going to be, you know, probably pretty good for any kind of situation where, you know, you want to stray away from acoustic instruments. You don't want acoustic sounds. You want something that's specifically robotic or synthetic, you know. But these sounds are kind of on the dark side. I think sometimes Ableton uses this tag cinematic to kind of convey like dark and moody, kind of brooding, which I think this does. So I'm not sure it helps me with this particular instance because I really wanted to come up with something kind of trancey, and I feel like I'm trying to fit a square peg in a round hole here. But I've never really used this pack before, and I wanted to investigate what it was about. So hopefully you guys have a couple of Ableton tips in terms of workflow, but also you can see what this pack's about. I think this is one of their older packs too, and as you go back in time, their packs are a bit more kind of drag and drop static, I guess is a good word to describe them. Like I feel like their newer packs are way more performable, way more flexible for me to like do my own thing with. The construction kits aren't always that really helpful. I guess if I was somebody who only spent like 10 minutes a week on Ableton and I just, you know, wanted the gratification of putting something together, then that would be a good match. But I want to make music, like I'm doing composition, I'm producing new tracks, and I feel like their older packs help me less with that, and the new packs help me a lot more. So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to be back here on Monday. So today's the 4th, I guess, 5th, 6th, 7th. I'll be back on Monday. And, you know, around the same time, noon. I'm trying to hit these at noon. Sometimes I hit 12:30 on Pacific time. I'm here in San Diego. So I'll see you then with another pack. And thanks a lot for being here.